Did you know it's really not about scolding your kids? Sometimes it's when you scold them. The timing has to be right. That's just as important as the correction you're trying to make. So we're going to talk about that today, Robin. And there are several things that we need to mention, at least five moments when it's never a good time to scold your child.
Right.
5 times when it's not a good time to scold your child. So get out a pen, piece of paper, write these things down. As parents, we need to remember these things, and we remember a lot more of what we write down. So what's the first thing? What's the first time you should not scold your child?
When your child is overwhelmed. When your child is overwhelmed, that means they're not thinking, and they don't understand why they feel the way they do, and they're just reacting. Right then, they need you to love them, hug on them. You have to be calm.
Mm-hmm.
You absolutely have to be calm, because they don't have a calm mind. But
Well, they're full of emotion
yes,
at that
they
moment,
are,
and
and
they
they
can't
need
control
you
it.
to. What they need is for you to be calm and loving. Sometimes they don't want you to hug them, but you just be calm and in front of them. Say, it's okay. It's going to be okay. You know.
Well, what's the phrase we hear all the time, especially from younger parents, is my kid had a meltdown. We're late because my kid had a meltdown or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of what they're talking about, is that they've gotten to the emotional state that they just cannot control their behavior. The child thinks that. And so as a parent, it's your responsibility to try to focus them in the right direction and learn how to control their behavior. But the truth of the matter is, we as adults don't do a very good job of controlling our own behavior sometimes. And we
Right.
say stupid things and act stupid ways. We cannot expect a child to always be in control of their emotions. No more than you can expect an adult to always be in control of their emotions. But they should be in control of their emotions as adults more than when they were
Yeah.
kids.
And
So,
sometimes they act worse than the kids do.
yeah, that's right. And really, you're not raising kids. You're raising those children to become adults. So you want to raise them from being kids to teach them how to be adults. And adults don't do certain things. So we need to understand that when your kid is completely overwhelmed and they're going berserk, they're having the meltdown, they're going crazy, if you will, it's not a good time to try to correct their behavior. But it might be a great time to go give them a hug, sit down with them, let them know that you love them, some of those kind of things,
You
right?
can correct that behavior later.
Yeah. So it's the first goal then, when your kid's having a meltdown, is to calm them down first.
Right.
You correct them later, but your first goal is I want to try to get them calmed down. And then we'll talk about what they did, later on. What's the second thing, Robbie?
Okay. You should never get onto your children when they are embarrassed, or correct them
Yeah.
when they are embarrassed.
Yeah.
I've seen so many parents do this. And, you just watch the child just wither this, and their eyes are down. And you can tell by some of them this happens a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Happens to them a long time. And so you have wounded them, you have embarrassed them, you have humiliated them. I know some, because of what their parents or other people have done to them, they will never set foot on stage, they will never speak publicly, they will never be in a crowd with people, they can't be friends with people, because of what the parents made them feel like. You're not worthy.
Embarrasses them.
Embarrassment.
Now, my mom, this story, sometimes she would embarrass me. And I've got a pretty tough spirit, pretty tough will, so it didn't really crush me in any way, shape, or form. But I do remember when I was a boy, probably in first grade, maybe second grade, something like that. My mother was in the car line to pick me up from school. And this girl who was rather chunky, I
She
shall
was
say.
bigger than you.
She was a lot bigger than me. She's
Mark
twice as
was
big.
tiny.
I was a tiny kid, and she was probably twice as big as me. And my mother had just pulled up, and she came over. This girl liked me, and I didn't like her. But she came up, and she picked me up off the ground, and she said, "I love you, Marky boy." You talk about being embarrassed, not only in front of all my friends who saw it happen, but my mother who saw it happen, and she laughed and laughed and laughed about that. Of course, she had to tell everybody she
Told
knew.
everybody you knew.
I didn't like that, but
I wish I could have seen it, though. That would
Yeah.
have been fun.
Yeah, well, I can still remember it like it was yesterday. It was so traumatizing for me.
Yeah.
You should feel sorry for me.
But you need to remember, when you embarrass them, you've lost them.
Yeah.
You're not teaching them at all.
Yeah.
And that makes them put that shell up. And next
Yeah.
time it's a thicker one and a thicker one, they're not going to listen to you.
Yeah. So don't embarrass your kids. Don't humiliate your children.
You destroy your relationship with them.
It
as
will
well.
absolutely
Yeah.
destroy your relationship. So what you do then, if they're doing something they shouldn't be doing, you pull them aside and you speak privately with them. in a quiet tone where others can't hear the conversation. You pull them aside and you speak privately with them. And what you're doing is you're protecting your relationship with your child when you do that.
Right.
So that's one thing. All right, let's go to the next.
Okay. When they are exhausted, when your child is worn out, you know, and parents, you know. And so at that point, that's not the time to correct them. You just don't do it. You try to, maybe they need a nap, get them to take a nap, but you do not do it. They're exhausted, you think it's attitude, but that's not true.
Yeah.
It's because they don't know how to handle the emotions and how they feel, so that's how it comes out.
I heard, or actually I read, someone wrote that a tired child is not a disobedient child, they're a depleted one. Mm-hmm. They got nothing left to give. They're empty and they don't know what to do.
Kind of like you feel at the end of a workday.
Yeah. Yeah, when you spent yourself and you just can't do anymore, you can't take another step, that kind of thing. So we often, I think, mislabel exhaustion as an attitude, and we get on to them for it. And they're just tired. They're just exhausted. Just like when you get exhausted, you probably want to have some alone time or whatever, some time to recoup because you've been running on empty. Maybe it's the end of the day for them. They've been running on empty, and they just need some time to recharge. So don't correct your kid when they're absolutely exhausted. You know, even if the behavior's bad, you calm them down.
Right.
You deal with it later, but not at that moment.
Right.
What's the fourth thing, Rob?
Okay. When they are hurting, if they are already dealing with pain emotionally or physically, would you correct them on top of that? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
There's absolutely not. You're not guiding them. That just pushes them further alone. They're in a corner. You're over there because you're not protecting them. You're not guiding them.
Yeah, the first thing they need to know is that my parents, no matter what I've done, my parents still love me. And it's not the time to try to set them straight.
Yeah, have you heard somebody say, you're an embarrassment to the family?
Yeah.
It's things like that.
They're not going to feel guided if you do that. They're just going to be feeling like they've been jumped on yet once again because we can fall into the habit of that. And that makes them feel alone. Like, I've got no one in this world that really understands my feelings and what I'm going through. And I'm lonely. I don't have anyone to turn to.
Right.
You know, to ask them what I should do. I mean, recently we had a kid, I won't name who it was, but we had a kid that said, I don't know what to do. Remember that? I don't know what to do. They were upset. They were crying, and they said, I don't know what to do. And you talk about heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll break your heart. So you acknowledge their hurt first. If they're upset, if they're hurting, maybe somebody hurt their feelings at school or whatever, or maybe it was the other parent that hurt their feelings. You acknowledge their hurt. You show them some empathy,
Right.
some compassion. And then later on, when they've calmed down, you can guide them into feeling safe again and understanding of what really has gone on. But they're not going to understand that when their brain is just going haywire at that moment.
Right.
All right, what's the last thing?
Okay, and when they are trying, if they're genuinely trying and you get on to them, then you just kill their motivation.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying, and it doesn't do any good, so why should I try? And you don't care anyway.
Yeah, I think this is one of the things that surprises people the most is that you don't discipline your kid, correct your kid when they're trying, and you can tell they really are. Now, what do you do when you've got a kid that you know they're not trying? They're saying they are, but they're really not trying to do whatever it is they need to be doing. So what do you do then?
What would you do?
What would I do? I would say, listen, you shape up or I'm going to go get rah-rah and you're going to be in trouble, That's what I would do.
No.
So
I would ask them why they're not. Come on, don't you want to play? Just see what's
maybe
wrong with them.
offer them a carrot, maybe. Like, hey, you try this, you get it, you try your very hardest. If I see you're trying, your very hardest, then I'll let you have some ice cream or a popsicle, or I'll let you, do something later on. Watch your favorite show, whatever.
Yep.
You might give them a little carrot out there, but
We do.
But you don't want to correct them when they're trying and they're
Right.
failing.
Right.
That's not a good time. So correction without encouragement kills motivation. Just like you said, it will destroy their motivation and they're going to quit trying. So if you as a parent want your kids to try, then don't discourage them when they try and fail.
Yeah.
Don't discourage them. Encourage them. You can do this. I've got confidence in you. How can I help you do this? How can I teach you what is it you need to learn, or what is it you need to know? I'll be glad to teach you because I'm proud of you and I've got confidence that you're going to be just fine in this. So again, you acknowledge their feelings, but you affirm their effort, and they need that as well. So there's 5 things that you can do that you need to not discipline your kids during those times, and calm them down first, and then you move on to correction later on. So hope this helps you. I appreciate you being here. We love you guys very, very much. Remember to like and subscribe, right?
But
Like and subscribe. Why? Because it puts us up higher on the algorithm, and more people get fed our channel so they can get advice like this, and maybe it will help out someone else. So you can help out someone else by liking and subscribing, and maybe even sharing this video with others. Hey, we love you. Glad you tuned in. We'll have another video for you next week. God bless you.
love y'all.